daily dose of coffee Q&A here on the Onocoffee channel. I'm your host, Jay, and we do coffee questions and answers most Monday through Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern. How y'all doing? Welcome back to the show. How was your weekend? Hope it was a good one. As you can see, I'm back on the car. We're in another episode of this road rules kind of thing where actually we're moving finally because I've been stuck on the highway for the last 15 minutes at a dead standstill. And now we're rolling again. There's an accident. They had all these like emergency vehicles driving by as we were sitting there. So only just before we started did we start to roll again. So that's a nice thing. My plan originally was I've got a meeting up in rural Pennsylvania, a place called Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, and I was like, well, let's go do the show from there. And it says country coffee. Exactly. So my plan was to go to this one place that has coffee. I don't know what they are. They're not really a coffee shop per se. They're more of a dairy bar. But unfortunately, I had timed it so that I would be there right around now. But now we are still way far away. Like we are way far away. So as we make our way towards Spring Grove, my meeting's around 11. We will see what coffee's on the way, because right now we're on the freeway, and the highway is there's nothing on here, but it's a little bit maybe a little bit remote, so connection looks a little bit weak. My apologies if the connection's weak. Something interesting. You guys know that I do this woodworking thing now, and because of that, I watch a lot of YouTube videos about woodworking. And there's this particular guy that I follow on his YouTube channel, a place called Sedge Tool, Sedge Tool. Guy named Brian Sedgley. Most people call him Sedge, and he's known as Sedge. And he works for a company called Festool, and he does all these Festool lives, and he has his own channel called Sedge Tool, and he does all these videos. And I've been watching a lot. And it's so interesting because I was looking at podcasts yesterday, and I find him in a couple podcasts, so I decided to listen. And it's interesting because I only know him. Yeah, I guess there's spots where AT&T is not so strong, so my apologies on that. All right, now we're finally clear. Hopefully this will keep our signal good. But like I was saying, so I've been listening to these podcasts where that guy said, he speaks with colorful language. And I'm like, I speak like that. In my personal life, I don't do that online because, you don't want to, you do clean up your presentation. So I don't know. It's very interesting like that. Anyway, so, we're here, we're rolling now, and now we're trying to get to see what's going on. But I was reading an article this morning, I was reading an article while I was waiting in traffic just a few minutes ago, trying to pass the time, because I have no idea how long it was going to take. Like the last time I got stuck in traffic on a 2-lane, on a freeway like this, I was in Germany a few years ago. And I think we sat there for like 2 hours because the accident was really bad. So I was reading an article on Perfect Daily Grind about the AeroPress and how the AeroPress can make for a great brewer for your coffee house menu. And I was interested to read it because, we offered the AeroPress in our cafes for many, many years. And the article is long, and it goes through some history about the AeroPress and all this stuff. And I'm like, what does any of this have to do about the AeroPress being a great brewing device for your cafe? And it's maybe it's like a 1,300 word article. Maybe there's 600 words before you get to anything remotely about brewing. And I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world is this? so finally they get to this part where they talk to some guy from AeroPress, some marketing guy, and he's like, yeah, and basically he's like, yeah, this is how you can prove it, but you should also like play around with your parameters. And I'm like, what the, really? You're going to talk about playing around with parameters? Anybody can figure that out. How about give us a recipe that you think works in a production environment? Which they don't really get. And I was just so like, it made me think of another discussion I had with someone from YouTube that was like complaining about how people will make rude comments or difficult comments or critical comments on their comments of their videos. And I was like, and they were bitching about it, like, about YouTubers bitch about this kind of thing. And I'm just like, I mean, I get it. I get, because they're like, well, that person is not doing anything. It's like, yeah, no, but most people don't do videos. Why would they? But I also think that, and this article makes me think about that, because it's like, I'm reading this article and I'm thinking, as a consumer, I'm giving you my time. Hopefully I would like to get some value, and hopefully I provide value for you guys. Although I think the value for today is a little more questionable, because we are now totally unprepared, because I don't have any coffee shop. I'm not at the coffee shop I was planning to be at by now, so my apologies on that. But if you have questions about coffee, let me know your questions, because now I'm captive to you, and I can, at least give my thoughts on any kind of questions about coffee you might have. And I must say one thing that I do have, I have this water, this thermal mug. I must say that it's by a company called Mir. And I bought this, there's a company called Charm City Run, right? They're a running store. They're all about running. And this is from their St. Michael's Running Festival. Not that I do running. Like, I'm not going to be running. There's no running happening in my life. But their warehouse, they had a warehouse sale like about a year ago, and I went. And this was $10. And I hadn't used it for a long time. I bought it just because I thought I would use it in a video. But I recently have started using it just to carry water. And it's done a very nice job holding cold water. I haven't used it for hot water, but I think it'll be very good for hot water. And it's actually worked well. So if you're thinking about of some kind of thermal, this one from Mir has actually been pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with it. Now, I don't know how much it costs normally. Like I said, I got this at their warehouse sale for $10. So $10, $40, $40. It'd be all right at 40. It'd still be okay at 40. I don't know how much it is. About the espresso dual station. I think I definitely want to include the tamper, the distribution tool, the WDT, and maybe some slots for puck screens, or something to hold the puck screens. I know you guys are running the puck screens. What about the portafilter? Does the portafilter need to go on that base? Like, are you guys tamping? Maku, how are you? Are you guys tamping on a base, or are you tamping on a counter? Right? Like, when I tap my espresso, right, I'm using the edge of the counter as kind of a wedge and a platform for my tamping, right? Because I'll take the portafilter, right, with the spout here, and I'm going to put that on the corner, the edge of the counter. And if I have a spout, I'm going to use that kind of as a stop to hold it. Now, I noticed that on some of these commercially done things that they have, wow, there's a lot of fog now. Holy, this day is just getting compoundingly worse. I noticed that a lot of people, or a lot of these companies, have these pockets for the tampers that have these adjustable screws that I guess, I'm presuming, and I've never used one, so I'm presuming that it can be adjusted to hold the portafilter more level by touching the neck of it. Is that correct? Naomi says, I have a holder now, but the edge is fine for me. Okay. Like, but is a holder that important? Like, and also, are people using these to leave their portafilters in the holder the entire time? If you are, if you are, and you're someone that keeps your espresso machine on, or you just turn it off and on, but I would encourage you to reconsider, right? Because, and here's why, and this is something that this can change, but like at the shops, we always keep our portafilters in the espresso machines at all times, and we train our baristas to only take them to keep the portafilter out of this group head for only as long as necessary. Like, do your thing, lock it back, brew, right? If you need to clean it after, take it out, clean it, put it back in, leave it. We train our baristas to never put the portafilter down on a countertop and just leave it there. And why is this? Because we're trying to maintain thermal stability of the portafilter, of the entire coffee environment, right? So we want to have the proper, of course, temperature of the espresso machine, of the water, and then we wanted that whole coffee to be surrounded by the heat, right? And that portafilter is designed with a certain amount of mass so that it can hold that heat. Got a little bit of sniffles now, maybe because I keep it too warm in here. Now, there is something that I've been thinking about that recently that you could argue, but it's a little bit less control. Like, you're probably familiar now with the, what do they call that? Sasa was the one that was pushing it. They make that device where you have the golden ball that's frozen, and you put it in that holder, and you brew over it, and then you pull it out after like 30 seconds, and it actually, I've tried it, right? I created my own little device because, I didn't want to spend the money. I already had a bunch of stuff at the shop, so I just hobbled it together to recreate the environment. But that has improved the coffee. I haven't experienced a coffee that was very enjoyable by extract chilling the coffee. And I did speak to Professor Uretzian about it to get more insight into how it's being done or what the impact is. So I do think it has an impact. Now, Naomi says, I use the holder to support the portafilter hands-free so I can dump ground coffee into it. And I do wait for the portafilter to get hot. Oh, okay, very good. But so part of me was, I was also thinking that, like if you left the portafilter out and it was at room temperature, so kind of cold, but then it's not very cold, it's just room temperature, that could have a chilling effect. I haven't tried this, but it could have an effect, but it wouldn't be necessarily a repeatable, consistent kind of, it wouldn't be wouldn't be very repeatable or controllable, I think. But I was thinking, like, maybe you could play around with taking that portafilter, maybe refrigerating the portafilter or freezing the portafilter, and then pulling your shot into it. That could be something. Now, one of the problems that I have today is that I'm running through the countryside, a part of the countryside that I'm not very familiar with, and I'm sort of familiar, but not very familiar. So I chose this one route that should have only 2 different roads. And since I'm using the phone to live stream, I can't use the phone to navigate. So I had to memorize. I had to memorize the map. And for those of you who are older like me, you remember the maps. Like, you had to carry the map. Like, look at this. I can barely, look at that. Look how crazy it looks out here. But beautiful. It's like monsters are lurking somewhere in the fog. But like I was saying, I would encourage you to maybe consider keeping your portafilter in your machines instead of on a stand. Well, of course, the machine's off, no big deal. But I see people online or making pictures, and they have those, you know, portafilter hangers that they're hanging them on their wall, and it's like honestly it makes me cringe. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. Malcolm says they're driving like 1990. Yeah, man, it's totally like it's like terrible. Darwin says we have zombie apocalypse. Yeah, you know, there could be like just rolling over the hill, just rolling over this hill over there. There's just zombies waiting to attack. Like, look at that. It's just, this is a terrible day to be out driving. At least it mitigates the speed. But you know, it's pretty. I love coming out to the countryside because look, it's just fields of nothing at the moment because they've already cut down all the corn. These are cornfields and a farmhouse. There's a farmhouse here. Hey, a farmer. Hello. That's one thing I gotta say. You know, farmers, they're kind of hosed. Like, can you imagine? Like, they can only buy seed. So they buy seeds. So they have to sell a crop. They have to buy seeds from like Conagra, engineered seeds that will never proliferate. So you always have to buy seeds every year. So, like, you could take the corn, right? Like, if you get corn, you could take it and plant it. You should be able to plant it, and the corn kernels will sprout. Evidently, the commercial can't plant them. You must buy 13 applications of fertilizer. 13 applications of fertilizer. What the? Then you have these machineries for all this harvesting that's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're holding a note on, and so you can't even repair them yourself. You gotta like have all this application. What? Like a man, this country is a racket. Farmers are hosed. Like, they are hosed. I don't know why they do it. I mean, and that's interesting. Like, in coffee, we talk about farmers, right? We talk about so much farmers. You know, we don't pay attention to. I don't think we pay attention to farms in America, right? Like, is this a stop sign for me? Yeah, it is. Like, I remember, in 2008, I was in Wisconsin visiting with a dairy farmer. And I remember he was talking about, Naomi says, no coffee. Yeah, well, I'm trying. No, we're in the middle of nowhere, Naomi. I haven't seen any coffee places. I'm looking. Don't worry, I'm looking. We could go to Rutter's. Rutter's is pretty bad. I don't think we need to, like, talk to Rutter's yet. I'm trying to make it to this one place. But we just crossed into Pennsylvania, so hopefully there'll be something interesting to stop by. Like I said, my plan. Oh, maybe this is where the YouTube, the internet was cutting out. But my plan was originally to be up in the town where I have to go to by the time we started, so that I could go to this one dairy bar that I scouted out that had a walk-up window, and I think they sold like breakfast sandwiches and coffee, and I was going to go there. But because of that accident that held us up for like half an hour or so, yeah, we're behind. We're just running behind, that's all. Impulse is with us. Oh, your neighborhood. Are you out here? Are you from? I didn't know you're from out of Pennsylvania, rural Pennsylvania. Yeah, I just crossed over by Middletown Road onto 851, heading to Spring Grove. I figured this would be the most expedient way. There was a way that I could go from like Glen Rock or something off 83, but then I was like, that had a lot more turns. And if I had to memorize how to get there, that would not be worth well. Impulse said, my plan was to hit passenger day, but it's looking like a Micro Center. Man, I was at Micro Center on the other day, Saturday, buying some filament for my 3D printer, and I don't know what happened, man, but my 3D printer no longer, like nothing sticks to the bed anymore. Like everything is like gliding. Like it either doesn't install or it'll stick for a few layers, and then by the time that I'm comfortable, I walk away and I come back an hour later, it has, you can see on the printing that it moves off of like its of 0 point or whatever, the wherever it mounted originally, printed a few layers, moved over, printed a few layers, and then finally just glided right off the bed. I'm like, what the heck? And I just started 3D printing last week, so I have no idea what's going on. I'm like, golly, hopefully that's, hey, I got 2 bars down. Golly, hopefully that's, hey, I got 2 bars down. But I can't figure out. So I cleaned that's propyl alcohol. Now I can't get it to print. So I'm like, there was a car accident. We were delayed on the highway. So I'm like, there was a car accident. We were delayed on the highway, and my plan was in this town by the time we started, so that we could just have a little more of a relaxed time with coffee and whatever they had there. But now we're on the way to the town, and there's not much coffee out in this part of the country, so it was really hard, other than Dunkin's. Like, there's a Dunkin' Donuts. There's always Dunkin' Donuts. But if I see a place before we get to the town, we'll stop and check it out. And then Dutch says, I'm afraid to tell you it doesn't grow there. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate all your help with that. That's very... this part of Pennsylvania actually was settled by a lot of German immigrants. There's a very strong German and Dutch influence in this part of the country, in this part of Pennsylvania. Naomi's asking, are you trying to PA to get milk? Not normally. I'm actually not getting milk. I'm actually getting... I have to get some equipment up here, but I did find an Amish farmer earlier this year who I would like to buy milk from, just across the Pennsylvania border, more that way than where I am now, that has great milk, Jersey cows, pastured, the kind of stuff that I like. It's small. He's a small producer, which I like that too. And I buy some raw milk from him, but I can't use raw milk in a commercial environment, and people would like lose their, the Board of Health would lose their mind. No, it's not just you that's buffering. It is me. It's me, because I'm in the countryside, so there's positions out here where signal is not very good, like when I was in the gully. So my apologies on that. Yeah, the zombies get, every once in a while the zombies get me, and then I respawn and then come back, and it's all good. Yeah, sorry for the stream. Right now it shows me 5 bars full power on the and 5G, so hopefully that'll stay. Actually, there's a big tower right here. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? There's a tower right there. Big tower. So right now we got great signal. We won't have great signal soon. So yeah, like I said, if you have questions about coffee, now's the time to ask. I'm captive to you at the moment. So If you have things you've been wondering about, theories, if you have gripes, let me know. Let me know. I'm happy to chat about that today. $5? Why not? I know, right? I know, totally. That's why cell phones suck. They need $9. I have been eating a lot of Hershey Kisses lately. The local Woodcraft, the store where I buy my woodworking tools and stuff, they have these they give away these Hershey Kisses, and I just keep eating them. Gosh. It's terrible. Is flow control, nobody's asking, is flow control necessary for light roast coffees? You mean, when you say flow control, do you mean the flow control for since we're talking about this earlier, the AeroPress flow control? Or flow control? As far as this, if it's, oh wow, we're back, oh, and then when we're back to zombie world. But as far as this is concerned, I say yes. I think yes, flow control is always, I think controlling the flow rate is always important. Regardless whether it's lighter or darker, you want to control the amount of the rate of extraction. Oh, the flow control paddle on an espresso machine. Okay, can you elaborate a little bit more on what that means? I don't know if because when I think flow control on an espresso machine, I tend to think of things like volumetric dosing, or perhaps jiggler restrictors in the flow in the waterline tubes. And then when you say paddle, I always think of the paddle, the little Marzocco paddle. So give me a little bit more detail on what you mean by the flow control. Anton says it was interesting. I think naturally tasted the best. But if I had to pick, I think Swiss water was the, oh, as far as decaf? Oh, and you're asking, you asking for his witness Huff. I have not seen the decaf video. I know he finally came out with it, but I have not seen any of that. I'll have to check it out. But you like the Swiss water better? Oh, that's interesting. You know, because what I think is interesting about what Huff is doing there is that he's using the same coffee in multiple different processing methods as a comparison. I think that's really good, because most of us in the business that talk about this only have kind of anecdotal information on this, because as far as I know, James is the very first person to have ever done this, where you take the same coffee and do multiple methods, or multiple decaffeination methods, as well as the regular coffee, and then compare them. We've compared them. I can find coffees and compare them to the little non-caffeinated version. And the interesting thing is that when I've tasted decaf coffees, I've tended to over the years to prefer the MC method, the methylene chloride method, over Swiss water and over Mexican water, and even I think I like sugarcane EA processing better. But I can't say that I've ever had a true apples to apples comparison across the board, which I think is quite interesting. So you like the Swiss water better? Oh, that's okay. That's good to know. That's good to know. Anti-sustainable, not necessarily, but helpful. First thing that helps is controlling ratio, maybe 1 to 3 for light roast, of course. Omnia uses it all the time on the Bianca. It's an additional attachment on your espresso machine. You know, to be honest with you, I did not notice that on the video that I watched. I will go back and look at that because I don't necessarily, if it's an attachment, is it something that's normally on the Bianca, or is that something that he added to the Bianca? Because honestly, I'm not familiar with that. So I will have to look into that and figure and see how it does. But I don't think I've ever used. Well, I don't think, at least in the iteration that he's using, I don't think I've ever had that. 4 miles. Almost there. We're almost there. But this is a cute town. I have no idea what town this is. I didn't see a welcome to whatever town this is. Berlin, maybe? I think his Bianca came with. Okay. You know, I'll look at his videos, and then I'll even message him and see what he says about it. But Peter, hello to you, Peter. How are you, man? Recovered from your trip? Anton says that it's like the flow control. It's like the flow control profiling. You can do pre-infusion. Oh, I see. Okay. Decrease pressure. Okay. Cheapest way to do it with the flow. Oh, I see. Okay, so the flow controller will modulate your flow. Okay, gotcha. Oh, Peter, heading off another trip this week. Back on boat. But like I was saying, I don't. It's like a lot of things that are out there that can and do help make nice coffee. I would surmise to say that it's probably not necessary. If you have it and you can get it, or you can add it, and it probably will make it improve it. But do you absolutely need it? I don't think so. It's like the tools, right? Like in the world of like woodworking that I've been doing lately, I use a lot of Festool stuff, but I also use a lot of DeWalt and some Ryobi and Makita. And people say DeWalt is like, and people complain about DeWalt being so expensive and all these things, but your ability and the development of your skills in producing the coffee, in this case, the coffee. In my example of wood, wood projects, So it's just a matter of brewing more, learning as much as you can about it, understanding as much as you can. Because honestly, I see a lot of tools that are out there, but for coffee, but I don't really use any of them because I don't find them terribly necessary to get great results. But that's not to say they won't or they can't, and they won't help your journey, or they won't make your journey better or more enjoyable. Singapore, Malaysia. Ooh, nice. When you're in Kuala Lumpur, there is. I will look up the place, but there is a barista whose shop I'm particularly interested in visiting. Who I didn't have the time. I didn't have the time when I was in Malaysia last year to visit, but I'd love to go back and visit. Her name is Tracia Chan, Tracia Chan, and she's on Instagram. If you look at my Instagram and you look at who I'm following, she's one of the people that I follow, and she's very much into coffee and cocktails. And I think it looks like she's doing some really interesting stuff. So, she's in her 20s and she's doing some interesting stuff, and I think it'd be worthwhile to check out. And of course, she would know a lot of other. There's a few other specialty coffee shops that are probably worth visiting. Musa Musa, what's going on, Musa? My machine does pressure profiling, which is similar to flow control. Flow control profiling, but restricts pressure, and yes, it can make a difference. Oh, okay, there we go. So that's good. That's good to know. Naomi says, when making a light roast espresso, do you alter the water temperature? You know, I don't. I tend not to change the water temperature, mainly because and also a big part of that is because I don't necessarily go to light roast espressos. I'm not against them. I just don't choose to drink them. Like I'm not a big IPA guy, right? For beers. You know, I'm not a big fan of the hops and the heavy hops or the heavy marijuana hops. So heavy hops that it tastes like marijuana. You're drinking marijuana. And in turn, I'm also not I'm not really big on the high, bright acidity coffees. Like, I enjoy them once in a while, but for me, I think that a lot of the high brightness acidity espressos that I've had tend to clash. I find them to be clashing, especially when you use them in milk. I don't think it works well. I prefer richer, sweeter, chocolatier type of espresso. Oh, wow, this is a very industrial looking area that we're in. Look at this. This is actually a factory. Huh? Look at that. With a big tower. I have no idea what they're making here, but it looks like the old school. Gosh, it looks like the old school. Like when we were young, and we still had an industry in this country. All right, I think we have reached Spring Grove. Anton says the machine should be fully heated. I'm gonna let these guys pass because I don't know where I'm going. It's a cute town. Right, here's our town. This is actually a lot more developed and bigger of a town than I was expecting it to be. I was really expecting it to be a really teeny tiny town, but oh, that's a nice building. Look at that. That would be an epic coffee shop. This is what I do. I drive around and I see places and I would love to open a coffee shop in them. But then the coolest ones are usually far away from where I live and be like, that'd be crazy to come out here. Oh, here it is, Paper Town. Okay, we're here. I found our place. Wow, it's busy. It's busy here. We're at a place called Paper Town Restaurant and Dairy Bar. This is the place that I was originally. Naomi says that off topic, but the only time I went to PA, I was with a couple of guitar friends going to a guitar shop. Oh, when we walked out there, it was nudes. Well, there was nude cycling. It looked painful. Yeah. Like completely nude? Like I can't imagine riding my bicycle nude. Completely nude. Like that would be. Like there's a reason why I wear bicycle shorts. Right? Is that right? Anton says, if possible, go to 93 to 95 Celsius. Stable temp is a big factor in espresso taste, especially light roast. What is important here is not changing the temp, but having stable temp. Ah, yes, yes, yes. Musa says, I do 93 for light roast and lower for 90. Oh, yeah, I bet the kids are watching. I bet the kids were watching big time. Well, it is winter time. All right, let's go. How you doing? How's it going? So they've got like a pickup window here, so they got ice cream. The window is closed. Oh, it's a sit-down place. Hey, do you happen to do takeout?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
What's a great breakfast sandwich you guys make?
Okay, what do you like? Do you like?
I'm open to trying anything.
Okay,
That
we
you think is
have
great.
ham, egg, and cheese. We have bacon, egg, sausage, egg, pork roll, scrap-on egg.
How about the pork roll?
Do you want cheese on that?
That'd be lovely.
Do you want it on a roll, toast, bagel, or a muffin?
How would you have it?
Bagel.
Excellent.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm gonna have it how you like it.
Okay. You want cheese as well?
Yes, please.
Anything to drink? Any potatoes or anything?
Sure. What kind of potatoes do you recommend?
Home fries or like sliced potatoes.
Okay.
Okay, you got those. Do you want anything to drink?
Coffee?
Do you need creamer?
No, thank you.
Just black?
Just black would be great.
Go on it, baby.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're here, and all right, we ordered cash only. So it's an old school type coffee shop, and it's pretty packed. Like you kind of see, it's quite packed here. I did. So it's a place called Paper Town Deli, Paper Town Restaurant and Dairy Bar. So they have a whole ice cream center, but the ice cream machines look to be shut down, at least for, it is morning. So specials today: chicken broccoli and cheese over rice with applesauce, baked chicken breast over filling with mashed potatoes and corn. Looks pretty good. Very homeschool kind of cooking. Sure. Oh, actually, hot sauce would be great instead of ketchup. Thank you. So very nice. Oh, Peter, gosh, that's very kind, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. Totally unexpected, but I totally appreciate that.
I found out on the internet that they were recalled because what happened.
Yeah, so the accent here, Anton, is, this is the accent of southern central Pennsylvania. We're not quite, we're in a place called York County. York County is close to the big town here is York, Pennsylvania, which is, I guess, the county seat. The next county over, Lancaster County, is where there's a big, like, Amish Dutch kind of population. Of course, lots of Germans in this, German families settled in this area. So there's a lot of, like, pretzels are very popular here. So yeah, it should be. It's an interesting area. A lot of nice stuff going on here. Wholesome kinds of food.
Salt, pepper, no. Hot sauce.
Perfect.
You got it, but that'll be up here shortly.
All right, thank you so much. Malcolm says it's fun. Yeah. I was looking for a place to for the show, and so I was looking online, and there's not too much as far as coffee shops out this way. There was a couple of coffee shops, but they were pretty far away relative to the area, and so I saw this on Google Maps, and I thought, oh, they must have a carry-out window, so they must do some, because I put in coffee, and this is one of the places they must have figured they must have coffee, but it's more of a diner. Cool. It's cool. It's very old school. Like, I mean, this place, like the Formica is like, I mean, the Formica's old. I mean, everything, it's all Formica, like booths. Look at that. Right? This is, those of you who are not American, this is truly American, like, coffee scene, coffee shops, like old school coffee shops. This is kind of the coffee shop kind of place that I grew up in. And coffee shops, when I was young, like in the 70s, when I was a child, this is more of the style, like more of a diner kind of style where you could get coffee, but you got a lot of food, diner foods, pancakes, fried chicken. What do they have on the menu here? Like here we have omelets. Oh.
12:14.
12:14? All right. Just a 5 is good.
Okay. All right, honey. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That'll be up here shortly.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
So let's see here. Like, we've got. There's omelets, sandwiches. So very simple, like, egg, ham and egg. And look at this, like the price is not too terrible, right? $4.75. Like, unfortunately, where I live, like a ham and egg, a bacon, egg and cheese sandwich now is like $7.50. Like here, $4.75. That's fairly reasonable. $12.45, $12.14. The $12.14 is what she said for my meal. And what is that? We're getting large coffee, 16-ounce coffee. We're getting some kind of home fries and a breakfast sandwich. So that's a solid deal. That's a solid deal. Naomi says, we like our diners. We do. You can sleep there and be... Yeah, I saw the scrapple. I thought about the scrapple, but I thought let's do the Taylor, the pork roll. Mainly because, so those of you who may not feel, scrapple is basically, what is scrapple? Scrapple is kind of offcuts of the pork that are chopped up. And then the pork roll is something that's also very popular here in Pennsylvania. I don't really know much about the pork roll, but I have it when there's a place called John's Pork Roll up in Philadelphia. Or is it Taylor Pork Roll? John's. Taylor's the manufacturer. But they should be pretty good. So we're going to try it out, have some coffee. I got it without the cream, without sugar. Baku says, I just realized the sound of the cash register has already... Yeah, and that is an old school popular cash register. I didn't even realize. And it's total cash only here. I hadn't thought about it till you just mentioned that now, Maku, but I haven't seen a physical cash register like this in a long time as well. Like, I'm surprised they're still using it. It's kind of impressive. So I'll see up front. Because we are in a diner situation, I'm not necessarily expecting the greatest coffee in the world. I'm expecting it to be pretty rough. I'm expecting it to be pretty, a bit with defects. I probably should have ordered it with with cream and sugar. That's how actually I would normally order it in a cafe, in a diner environment. But I thought, let's try it out without it, see how it is.
Now the refrigerator, well, the trees were there. There were no trees in the backyard. When it rained a lot, the water would pool right outside the back. And then the water would come up in the basement. And then the back part was the living.
Naomi, when you say scrapple with a question mark, does that mean you don't? Was that? Are you familiar? Like, does that mean you're unfamiliar with Scrapple? My friends love Scrapple. I had Scrapple when I was younger, like in my teens, and I didn't like it. I don't remember what's in it, but I just didn't like it, so I've never had it since. I might have ordered it had they not had the pork roll, because to me it's like, well, what's normal? And like bacon, sausage is kind of normal, right, for a breakfast. But if we're traveling somewhere, let's have something different, right? Something that might be really good here in Pennsylvania. So I figured the pork roll that's more unique to this area than like where I live. And to be honest with you, I don't like home fries. Like I really just don't like them. Like I would never order. This is one of those things I would never order. I would never order it. But she recommended it, so I was like, you know what? Let's go. Let's give it a try. And why don't I like home fries? Mainly because what I like is textural juxtaposition. I want to have crunch and soft fluffiness, right? Like you know what? I love hash browns for that reason. I want that crunchiness. I would most of the time order French fries over home fries for breakfast if I could, so that I can have that crunch. To me, it's much better, much better. Devin's with us. What's going on, Devin, man? Good to see you. Welcome. We're at a place called Paper Town Restaurant. Yeah, Paper Town Restaurant and Dairy Bar in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, where I've come up here because I have a meeting after 11. I said 11 early, but I mean, it can be later. And we're going to have some coffee and a breakfast sandwich and some home fries. Oh, you didn't know what it was? Okay, just what did they say when you looked up, Naomi? What did they say is in the Scrapple? I know it's pork. I always thought that there was liver in it, which is the part that I don't like the most. Like the liver was like anything with liver, I'm not really a fan of. Chicken livers are all right, but liver in general, I just don't like. Pate, I love pate. I could do liver in pate, but outside of that, I'm just the irony flavor, as well as if it's like regular unprocessed liver, that texture, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. Ooh.
So the majority of your sunlight, it comes from one of the garage.
Naomi says I'm having brekkie, and while she's smoking, she's snacking on tofu croutons. Oh, tofu croutons. That sounds interesting. Do they like dry them out? Is that it?
They get chicken rice, Maryland crab,
All right, honey, here you go.
All right.
You are ready to go.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
And your coffee. Be very
All right.
careful with that, honey.
Thank you. Appreciate
much.
it.
Have a good day.
You too. All right, we're ready to go. Now we're leaving. Ooh, it's all like dreary out here. All right, Paper Town. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Paper Town Restaurant and Dairy Bar. We are in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. Hey, look at the place. It's kind of nice. They have the windows there for you to pick up. Soft serve. I should have I really would like to have got soft serve ice cream. I love soft serve ice cream. Put that there for a moment. Okay, let's see. Here's the coffee. Devin says that I thought Scrapple was game chunks. Game chunks? Good lord. I don't even know what that means. Potatoes with cheese, maybe eggs. Whoa. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound. Oven air fried seasoned cubes of tofu. Ooh, that actually does sound very good. Okay, so here's the coffee. Dry. A little bit. The dryness, I think, comes from like a bagginess to it, like a little bit of bagginess. Surprisingly, rather neutral. Not really. I was expecting to have really heavy defects, maybe some of that tar diesel note, dirty, like really dirty, like CBB damage kind of coffee. It's more baggy, which means that maybe it's a little bit older than anything else, but it's fairly neutral. Actually, surprisingly neutral. Like, this is a coffee that, so let's say the other day, Friday, when we're Einstein Brothers, and I had, and that the coffee that was underneath the caramel latte, if I had that coffee, like either brewed, I would be wishing that I had cream and sugar. Like, I'd be regretting not ordering that. But this is actually pleasant. Not horrific. So, my autocorrect is not. Okay, so she gave me a whole bag of like accoutrements. Wow, she like a whole bag just of like hot sauce. Look, and she gave me a ton of hot sauce. Like, that is just hot sauce and some utensils and some ketchup. I don't really need ketchup. I don't normally eat ketchup on certain things. Okay, so this is a sign of America. Bag that has nice and greasiness to it. Greasy bag. Oh, it's upside down. Look at that. Okay, let's have a look first at the stuff that I don't normally order. This is the home fries. Oh, look at that, home fries. All like, so it's a little bit different. I'm used to home fries being chunkier, like chunks, wedge cut chunks of potatoes that are more kind of like, with like, all kinds of like vegetables, onions, peppers, and things like that. This looks more like it was sliced and then griddled hard, which sounds like a good idea to me. This seems more akin to like sliced hash browns than it is to what I'm used to for home fries. Oh, all right. It has that crunch, that texture juxtaposition. Marcus says that. Oh, game chunks. Oh, you meant ham chunks. Oh, gotcha. Marcus says, wow, I can't believe the coffee doesn't have a heavy tobacco flavor. I know, right? Like, I'm very surprised. Very surprised. Okay, now let's go to the pork roll. Oh yeah, this is. You know what? As I think about this, right? This is the pork roll, and I've seen pork rolls that are thinner sliced. Anton will understand this probably better than seeing this cut like this, it's on a bagel, right? The bagel feels more like soft bread, but forget the bagel part. And it's hard. It's a hard fried egg, So you can see the white, so it's not totally like scrambled, so it's just hard fried. But did they put cheese? Oh, there is cheese. There's cheese inside the egg, like right in between. This, the way they cut this, the thickness reminds me of the Leberkuss. Leberkuss, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is basically this pork, German-style pork loaf that they slice thick, and then you pan fry it for breakfast. It's really great. If you can find if you have a German sausage market near you, butcher near you, you'd be well worth. So, Busa and Naomi, since you both live in, or both are in the Maryland area, there's a place here called Binkerts, Binkerts, in Rosedale, Maryland. You know, on the east side of Baltimore, that sells it. It's excellent. If you want to make a journey out there, it's and it's an explore German sausage. They make it all in house. It's delicious. Mm. Mm. All right, that's good. Just a little bit of salt from the pork roll. Yeah, and Devin says that I love how dark coffee cuts. Absolutely. And it looks like a slab of and in many respects, Naomi, it is kind of bologna. There is a separate bologna though. And I think a lot of that has to do with the Leberkuss, as I note from Binkers, tends to have chunks inside the loaf, whereas the bologna is more even textured. All right, this is solid. Surprisingly solid. Anton says, if you get the opportunity when you're at the flesh stick in a supermarket or something, and they offer Kessler Brötchen with Kessler as thick as 2 fingers. Okay. Kessler. I will look that up. I don't recall seeing that at this butcher, but I'll ask. So there's the sandwich, and it's very nice. The bagel, enjoyable. Let's have a taste of our home fries. She asked me if I wanted salt and pepper. I should have said yes. I would like a little more salt and pepper on this. But you know, you always like when you're from the coffee side of things, right? When you enjoy nice coffees, you always worry about going to places and eating there and having coffee, because especially like a diner, because you're like, oh, you know that you know from experience that chances are it's not going to be the most pleasant coffee you've ever had. Oh, darn it. But this coffee, So, I would have to say that if you find yourself in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania, come check out the Paper Town Restaurant and Dairy Bar. Maybe after my meeting, I'll come back here and try some of their soft serve. I love ice cream. I love it. I can't get enough of it. All right, so here is our sandwich. It's already past 11. We should be actually heading out, and I should go to my meeting. So thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out and sticking with me this whole time, because I know we were doing pretty much of nothing most of the show. So back again tomorrow with more coffee Q&A. Probably a little more structured environment. So hope you have a wonderful day out there. If you're out there in the world, be safe. It's a little, especially if you're in this area where the weather's not so pleasant, be careful. And back again tomorrow. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Oh, Anton says that by the way, the coffee that James picked up for the tasting was really nice one. Kind of reminded me of the Finca Mejorada coffee, which was the one you got as espresso at dawn. And so, all right. Well, good to know. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. All right, have a wonderful day out there, and see you next time.